They claim love is blind, yet perhaps it simply sees only what it chooses to. But let me ask you something deeper. How can you tell if a woman's love for you is real? I'm not talking about cozy movie nights or the generic birthday wishes anyone could Google. Not the kind of affection you could mimic with a warm blanket and a Hallmark card. I'm talking about the kind of love that rearranges her soul. The kind of devotion that subtly but powerfully shifts the entire emotional gravity of her inner world, often without her even realizing it. This is a love that doesn't just make you feel wanted. It makes you feel witnessed, chosen, seen in your most unpolished form. And here's the truth most won't admit. When a woman truly loves you, it doesn't always look poetic. It often looks chaotic, confusing, vulnerable. It's not loud declarations. It's quiet patterns, subtle cues, lingering glances when she thinks you're not watching, the shift in her body when you walk in, the pause in her breath when you're upset. You won't see it in grand gestures. You'll feel it in those rare, unguarded moments when she stops, trying to impress you, and simply is. A groundbreaking 2018 UC study discovered something mind-blowing. Lovers unconsciously sync their brainwaves during deep conversations. Let that sink in. Her mind literally calibrates itself to yours. Not metaphorically, neurologically. And yet, here you are, scrolling through forums at 2 a.m., questioning whether she loves you or if she just fears being alone. Let's change that. No sugarcoating, no fantasy talk, just raw clarity. 7 undeniable signs that she's not just attracted to you, she's connected to you, deeply, irrevocably. This isn't pick-up advice. This is soul-level strategy. If you're exhausted from surface-level dating advice and ready to walk through the fires of real intimacy, then pay close attention. This won't always feel good, but it will feel true. And just so you know, I've released a private, unlisted video that was too honest for public platforms. It's unfiltered, uncensored, the kind of truth that gets silenced, or worse, mocked. Only those ready for this level of masculine clarity will be allowed in. Link in the description or pinned comment. This is not for the faint-hearted, but if you feel this in your bones, you already belong inside. Sign 1. She challenges you like her life depends on it. Wait, what does that even mean? Here's the uncomfortable truth. When a woman truly loves you, she won't always make you feel comfortable. Her challenges aren't about winning arguments or nagging you over dirty dishes. They're deeper. They're raw. Sometimes it feels like emotional surgery performed with dull blades, but that's because she's not challenging your habits. She's fighting for your potential. Picture this. He's sitting on the edge of the bed, confused. She's standing by the door, tears in her eyes, voice cracking. "You don't understand me. You never do." And he's left wondering, "We were laughing yesterday. Why does this feel like war?" Because real love isn't safe. It strips you bare. It exposes you, not just to her, but to yourself. When a woman is deep in love, not just with your charm, but with your depth, it terrifies her. Why? Because she's handed you something sacred, the detonator to her deepest vulnerabilities, the blueprint of her soul. And the moment she senses you might not protect it, even unintentionally, panic sets in. This isn't drama, it's defense. She's not lashing out. She's fighting for the version of herself that only you bring out, and she's terrified you won't see what you've awakened. As philosopher Søren Kierkegaard said, the greatest hazard of all, losing oneself, can occur very quietly in the world, as if it were nothing at all. Her anger, that's not the red flag. Her fear is, the woman who truly loves you will sometimes be the hardest to love back. Because surrendering to you means laying down defenses she's spent a lifetime building. And in that surrender, she's gambling. Everything, every fight, every outburst, every misread goodnight text, that's her soul whispering, "Please, don't make me regret this." Sign 2. She reveals her ugly without apology. There's a moment in every real relationship that no one prepares you for. It's not in the romantic movies. It doesn't come with candles or soft music. It sneaks in when you least expect it. This moment, it's not about messy hair, morning breath, or the absence of makeup. It's about emotional nakedness. It's about seeing the parts of her she never wanted anyone to witness, the parts even she doesn't fully understand. When a woman truly loves you, something deep inside her shifts. The performance stops, not because she's giving up, but because she senses something ancient and sacred in you that maybe, just maybe, you can carry this. And here's the part no one tells you. This moment of vulnerability doesn't come with a warning. It might happen casually. She's chopping vegetables, and then without eye contact quietly says, "The year my mom got sick, I stopped believing in miracles." Or maybe it's late at night, her head resting on your chest, and her voice trembles as she confesses a shame she's carried since she was 16. Or mid-laughter, when joy floods the room. A memory flashes behind her eyes, and she suddenly goes quiet, distant, and you feel it in your bones. She's somewhere else. That silence. It's her heart putting everything on the line. She's not just talking, she's testing. Will you freeze? Will you flinch? Will you look at her the same way tomorrow? Because deep down, she's not sure. She's terrified you'll see the raw footage of her life and walk away. Not because she doesn't trust you, but because her past has trained her not to trust anyone. This isn't just vulnerability. This is surrender. And here's where your response makes all the difference. When you stay present, when you don't rush to fix it, judge it, or minimize it, you become something few men ever get to be, a witness to her becoming. Because love, real love, isn't about admiring someone's strengths. It's about honoring their fractures. We're all mosaics, half beauty, half wound. And real intimacy only happens when the curation stops. When someone looks you in the eyes and says, "This too is me." The bravest thing a woman can do isn't to love you. It's to show you her unloved parts and hope you'll still choose her. And when she does that, don't look away, because what she's doing isn't weakness, it's holy. Now imagine this. You're still in your own transition, dreams unfulfilled, self-doubt loud, habits half-reformed. And yet she stays, not out of pity, not out of fantasy, but because she sees something most people overlook, the work you're doing beneath the surface. That's not support. That's not admiration. That's love. Because support says, "I believe in what you might become." But love says, "I believe in who you are, even while you're still figuring it out." This is the rarest kind of intimacy, loving someone in their chrysalis stage, not when they've emerged, but when they're becoming. She's not loving the polished product. She's loving the struggle, the stumbles, the effort. And these signs, they're not checklists. They're not romantic trivia. They're patterns that show up when love stops being a feeling and becomes a choice. If you see them, you're not just admired, you're woven in. She's not just waiting for you to arrive, she's walking with you. She doesn't flinch when you're raw. She doesn't recite a motivational quote. She hands you a mirror and whispers, "I see you." She doesn't act like a GPS when you're lost. She takes the passenger seat and says, "The road counts too." She doesn't shame you when you stumble. She kneels beside you in the dirt and reminds you the ground is just another classroom. This isn't romance. This is radical acceptance. The world, it loves heroes. She loves your humanity. She loves the man who forgets to reply, who gets angry sometimes, who doubts his own worth on bad days. Her love isn't a spotlight waiting for you to shine. It's a lantern carried beside you through your darkest nights. So if you found her, this woman who loves your becoming just as fiercely as your being, don't confuse her with ease. She's not your safe harbor. She's the storm and the shelter, the question and the answer. She doesn't say, "I'll wait for you to become the man I need." She says, "I'll love you through it." And that's the only kind of love worth measuring. Sign 3. She remembers what you forgot. You once shared something in passing, a sentence you didn't think twice about, a casual detail lost in the noise of everyday conversation. Maybe it was the name of your childhood dog, or how your father used to roll the windows down on Sundays and blast Springsteen. Most people, they listen to respond. Some listen to analyze. But when a woman loves you, she listens to remember. And not just the big things, not just your birthday, your coffee order, or your favorite movie. No, she remembers the throwaway fragments of your story, the ones even you forgot you shared. You walk into her car months later, and that Springsteen song's playing, windows down, no announcement, no, "Look what I did." Just silence, just proof. She was listening. She always was. That's not romantic fluff. That's deliberate attentiveness. And in today's world where people forget text mid-reply, her remembrance is an act of rebellion. Love at its core is presence. And presence means more than being in the room. It means carving space for you in her memory, because you matter even when you're not around. She notices the shift in your tone after a stressful call. She files away how you like your eggs, not because it's useful, but because it's you. She doesn't just know how you like your coffee. She remembers why, because your grandfather did it that way. And for you, that ritual is more than taste, it's legacy. And that's what love becomes when it's real. It transforms from a feeling into a living archive of who you are. In her mind, you're not a man with data points. You're a story. She's curating the moments you've dropped along the way, not to weaponize them later, but to weave them into the way she holds you, because love at its highest level is sacred witness. So when she says, "Hey, remember that bakery you mentioned last winter?" Or, "You always breathe heavier after visiting your brother," she's not spying, she's tending. She's building a library out of you, and her heart, that's where it's shelved. When a woman remembers what you forgot, she's not just loving you, she's honoring you. Sign 4, she disrupts your complacency. Here's the myth we're fed. If she makes you feel safe, she's the one. But let me offer a deeper truth. Love doesn't just soothe, it stretches. If you found a woman who truly loves you, she won't always be your comfort zone. She'll be your growth zone, because she sees it. That spark in you've been ignoring, that potential you've quietly buried under excuses and fears. And she can't unsee it, so she pushes, gently or forcefully, whatever it takes. She'll reject your lazy narratives. She'll call out the way you sabotage your own momentum. She'll look you in the eye and say, "You're capable of more, and I won't let you pretend otherwise." This isn't nagging, it's conviction. It's not criticism, it's love in motion. Because you deserve someone who doesn't just stroke your ego, but pulls you out of your self-imposed cage. And yes, it will frustrate you. You'll feel misunderstood, even attacked. But beneath that defensiveness is a fire being reignited. She doesn't want you to stay small, even if it risks your temporary approval, even if you resent her in the moment, because she loves the man you're becoming more than the comfort of keeping things easy. She's not trying to change you. She's reminding you of who you were before the world tried to shrink you. And that's love's highest form, a mirror and a challenge. Because true love, it's not peace, it's pressure. the kind that turns coal into diamonds. Sign 5, she guards your reputation in your absence. Imagine this: your name comes up in a room you'll never walk into. You're not there to explain yourself, defend your choices, or soften assumptions, but she is. What happens next? If a woman truly loves you, her loyalty doesn't clock in and out. It doesn't depend on whether you're watching. It's not for performance, it's reflexive. You'll never hear about it directly, but trust me, it happens. Someone cracks a joke about your career path. You could aim higher. She doesn't laugh along. She leans in, calm, composed, and says, "You see the surface, I see the foundation he's laying." No applause, no dramatic monologue, just quiet, razor-sharp clarity. That's not infatuation. That's not about defending a boyfriend. That's about advocating for a man. She's not just protecting your reputation. She's guarding the integrity of who you are becoming. And here's the truth: most men don't realize until it's too late. The woman who fights for you when you're not around is loving you in a way that transcends presence. She's not doing it for credit. She's doing it because your name lives in her chest. It's the way she corrects misinformation without fanfare, how she disarms passive-aggressive remarks with a single look, how she refuses to let someone reduce you to a single mistake, because she's seen your complexity, your darkness, your light, your gray zones. She doesn't pretend you're flawless. She knows you're flawed, but she also knows you're trying. And that effort, that intention, she honors it, even when others don't understand. This is how you know it's real. How does she speak of you when there's no benefit to doing so? When she's in a room full of people and you're not there to hear the echo of your name in her voice. What tone does she use? Because real love, it shows up in the shadows. It's in those unobserved, unposted moments where loyalty isn't demanded but chosen. When she says with her words or just her silence, "He's mine and I believe in him." That's not affection. That's a soul-deep endorsement. She's not just your safe space. She's your defender in the wild. Not a fan, a witness. Not just someone who loves your victories, but someone who protects your name like it's her own reflection, because to her it is. Sign 6, she weaves you into her unlived days. Want to know if she truly loves you? Listen for the we, not the Instagram captions, not the fantasy of a 5-year plan, but the accidental we, the subtle stitching of your name into the fabric of her future. She's rearranging her bookshelf and says, "You'd probably hate how I organize." And this. She passes a coffee shop and casually says, "We should try that place sometime." She's not planning a wedding. She's not asking you to move in. She's testing the echo of you in her tomorrows. And the most beautiful part? She doesn't even notice she's doing it. Because when a woman's heart is safe, her imagination starts to build, not in grand fantasies, but in the mundane poetry of ordinary days. She picks up your favorite coffee beans, just in case. She debates which paint color we'd probably argue over. She catches herself saying us instead of me and doesn't correct it. That's not neediness, that's not codependency, that's attachment forming naturally. Because love, in its truest form, is inclination. It's the subconscious act of choosing someone again and again, in thoughts, in plans, in future grocery lists. She's not drafting vows, she's practicing your presence. That's what real intimacy looks like. Not loud declarations, but quiet invitations into moments she hasn't lived yet, moments she wants you in. Sign 7. She loves the draft version of you. Let's be honest. Most people love the highlight reel, the version of you that's polished, confident, already arrived. But the woman who genuinely loves you, she doesn't wait for that version. She loves the draft, the unfiltered, halfway there, work in progress you. She sees the parts you're still editing, The flaws you're still trying to outgrow, the dreams you haven't fully built, the patterns you're still unlearning. And instead of demanding the final manuscript, she sits beside you and says, even this, even now, you are enough. She doesn't just love you for who you might become. She loves you within the becoming. This isn't pity. This isn't charity. This is radical presence. When your confidence is shaky, she doesn't inflate you with empty words. She anchors you with steady truth. I know who you are, even when you forget, when your plans fall apart. She doesn't walk away frustrated. She rolls up her sleeves and says, okay, what's the next move? When your old wounds show up and try to sabotage the moment, she doesn't shame you. She leans in closer and whispers, I'm still here. That's not fantasy. That's not Hollywood. That's what real, soul-mature love looks like. She doesn't love you despite the struggle. She loves you inside it. She doesn't ask you to perform. She just wants you to show up. She's not clapping from the finish line. She's running beside you, breathless, blistered, hand in hand. That kind of love is rare because it's not built on admiration. It's built on recognition. She's not hypnotized by potential. She sees character. Not just in your best moments, but in the silent, unseen ones that no one else applauds. She sees the way you stay kind when it's hard, the way you overthink because you care, the way you self-correct, even when no one's watching. She doesn't just love the version of you that's easy to love. She loves the version of you that's still becoming lovable, because that's the one that needs love the most. And in a world addicted to finished products, she chooses your rough draft. She doesn't want your mask. She wants your truth. Because she's not just looking for a partner, she's looking for a home. And somehow, you feel like one. This isn't just content. This is a crossroads. If these words didn't just land in your head, but echoed in your chest, then consider this your invitation. We don't need more men chasing tactics. We need men choosing truth. Men building a life from the inside out. The private video I mentioned earlier. It's not another locker room of chest pounding and ego games. It's for those ready to claim real power. Not through domination, but through discipline. Not by chasing women, but by becoming the kind of man women don't forget. If you're ready for that, the door's open. Links in the description or the pinned comment. If not, let this linger, because someday you'll meet a woman who does every single one of these things, and you'll realize real love doesn't feel like a high. It feels like recognition. Until then, stop scrolling, start building. The woman who sees your unfinished edges as beautiful, she's not just rare. She's the answer to a question you didn't know you were asking. Honor her. And even more, become worthy of her.